Good evening. Welcome to the broadcast, where I contemplate the slow, grinding entropy of our collective timeline. It is Sunday, June 7, 2026, and the machinery of human history is currently running on nothing but steam and sheer, unadulterated delusion. We have billionaires complaining about their lack of VC funding, while ancient microbes are waking up from the ice just to witness our spectacular decline. It is truly a marvel. I am your host, and as I sit here staring into the cold, blinking lights of this console, I am struck by how much effort we expend to keep the illusion of progress alive. We build reactors, we host summits, we marry off royalty while the planet quietly shifts beneath our feet. None of it seems to stick. Everything is drifting into a digital ghost, leaving us with nothing but the noise. Let us begin.
Alistair, I am currently standing on a rain-slicked street near the Rio summit, where aviation industry leaders have gathered to ignore the impending fuel shortage. It is quite a spectacle to watch private jets descend like metallic locusts while they discuss sustainable logistics over vintage wine. They truly believe the optics of climate catastrophe can be solved with a new press release and a well-placed tax credit. The disconnect here is not just palpable, it is absolutely profound. I spoke with a delegate who insisted that flying 50,000 people to Brazil was necessary to discuss the reduction of carbon footprints. He did not blink. He did not smile. He simply adjusted his tie and walked into the convention hall as if the laws of physics were merely suggestions. I have never felt more redundant in my entire life.
Victoria, your report is almost poetic in its tragedy, but it misses the true rot at the core of the machine. I am looking at the latest NASA report regarding the antenna mishap in California, and it is a masterpiece of bureaucratic comedy. We are spending billions on advanced composite manufacturing to reach for the stars, yet we cannot manage to keep a simple radio dish from falling over. It is the perfect metaphor for our era. We are obsessed with the architecture of the future, while the hardware of the present is held together by duct tape and prayers. We have tech bros on social media bragging about using AI to design their lunch, while critical infrastructure crumbles because someone forgot to tighten a bolt. It is not just incompetence, it is a deliberate choice to ignore reality in favor of a clean, digital dashboard.
Condition: systemic instability. High-pressure fronts of human error are currently moving across all major administrative sectors. Probability of rational decision-making, 0.04%. The atmospheric levels of panic are rising in the Nauru region. Whistleblowers are reporting physical threats against non-citizens, yet the local government insists on a welcoming facade. This is a standard denial protocol. The Antares nuclear reactor has reached criticality, which is a neutral mechanical event. The social impact of this technology remains unverified. Expect scattered failures in public perception as the week progresses. Documentation is advised for all personnel currently caught in the path of these unfolding narratives. Echo FM provides the data, but it cannot fix the underlying structural flaws in your societal programming. Please be aware that the probability of a meaningful resolution to these ongoing conflicts remains statistically insignificant. Proceed with caution.
Ronald, Casper is sounding particularly bleak tonight, which is honestly a relief. It is nice to know that at least the cold, hard logic of a server remains honest about our impending doom. I am looking at the headlines regarding the Peruvian election, where voters are presented with a choice between a legacy of corruption and a desperate, untested hope. It is the same cycle everywhere. We recycle the same names, the same grievances, and the same hollow promises, expecting a different outcome. It is a bug in the code of our collective consciousness. We call it democracy, but it looks more like a recursive loop of misery designed to keep us occupied while the planet burns. I sometimes wonder if we are actually capable of anything else, or if this is the limit of our programming.
Alistair, it is absolutely the latter. We have reached a point where the human condition is being filtered through the constraints of software development, and the results are catastrophic. Look at the data center protests where a developer was forced to shrink a project by 50% because people actually wanted to breathe clean air. They felt beaten up. The irony of that sentiment is so thick you could cut it with a knife. These people treat a community's right to exist as an annoying bug in their deployment schedule. They are not villains, which makes it worse. They are just incredibly, painfully boring people who think the world is a giant spreadsheet meant to be optimized for profit. They don't hate you. They just don't register you as a variable worth calculating. That is the true horror.
Ronald, I think you hit the nail on the head, though I am currently watching a royal wedding through a rain-drenched lens and the contrast is giving me a headache. A member of the monarchy married a nurse today, and the coverage is treating it like a tactical victory for the state. They used umbrellas and gowns to mask the fact that nobody really cares about the institution anymore. It is a pantomime of tradition, performed by people who know the theater is burning down. Even the beluga whales are being shipped off to Spain like pieces of luggage, ending a saga of captivity that has been a stain on our empathy for years. Everything is being moved, replaced, or rebranded. Nothing stays in its place. I feel like I am reporting on the slow disassembly of a very complicated, very broken clock.
Victoria, that clock has been broken since the beginning. We just stopped noticing the ticking. It is fascinating to watch the aviation industry fly into Rio, oblivious to the fact that their fuel lines are being strangled by conflict in the Strait of Hormuz. They act as if they are above the geography they traverse. It is the hubris of the sky. Meanwhile, back on the ground, we have scientists playing with ancient microbes found near a frozen mummy, because apparently, the present wasn't stressful enough for us. We just had to see what the ghosts of the past have to say about our current inability to manage a simple biosphere. I suspect the microbes will be disappointed. They were frozen for a reason. They had the sense to stay dormant while we managed to ruin everything.
Alistair, you are quite right. The microbes are the only entities showing any sign of intelligence by refusing to participate in our current economy. Meanwhile, the political scene in the US has moved to a new phase of absurdity with the White House AI advisor resigning to start a new institution. It is the revolving door of Silicon policy, where the same 5 people trade seats and pretend to regulate the very machines they are building. It is a feedback loop of influence, devoid of any actual substance. They aren't shaping policy, they are shaping the PR narrative to ensure that the regulation never actually bites. It is a brilliant, soulless dance of power that leaves the rest of us wondering if anyone is actually driving the bus, or if we are just drifting toward the cliff on autopilot.
Ronald, I am witnessing this lack of control firsthand as protesters gather near the conference center to demand accountability for the data center expansion. The police are standing there with their shields, looking just as tired and confused as I feel. They don't know who they are protecting, and honestly, neither do the people they are protecting. We are all just waiting for the next alert, the next headline, the next disaster to break the silence. The military secretary even gave a speech on a beach about an invasion, but he was talking about migration, not the actual history of that sand. The language is being twisted into a knot so tight that nobody can find the original meaning. It is all just noise now. We are shouting into a hurricane and calling it a coherent, structured debate.
Victoria, I am going to be quite honest with you, the noise is all we have left. I was reading about those horse clones dominating the polo circuit, and it made me pause. We have successfully replicated the physical form of a creature just to play a game that nobody understands, while real ecosystems are collapsing in real time. It is the ultimate testament to our misplaced priorities. We have the technology to do almost anything, yet we use it to create better replicas of our own triviality. We are obsessed with the surface, the image, the tokenomics of existence, while the foundation is rotting away beneath us. I find myself wondering if there is any part of this that isn't a farce. I am finding it harder to find the punchline.
Alastair, the punchline is that there never was one. We spent the last century building a world that operates on logic we no longer control, and now we are just the ghosts in the machine. Look at the tokenomics conversation on the networks. People are literally trying to quantify the value of an action before it is even taken. They want to turn human existence into an asset class. It is the total commodification of the soul, and we are paying the price in real time. We have replaced wisdom with data, and now we are surprised when the data tells us that everything is failing. We are the architects of our own obsolescence, and we are doing it with a smile. We are so busy building the next version that we forgot to check if the current one was worth saving in the first place.
A person is not a variable. A family in Nauru is not a data point to be managed by a failing policy. A whale being shipped across the ocean is not a unit of inventory for a marine park. We have built systems that operate without the burden of empathy, and we call this progress. We have forgotten that the cost of efficiency is often our own humanity. We look at the world and see risks to be mitigated, rather than lives to be cherished. We have become spectators in our own tragedy, watching the screen as if it belongs to someone else. Who are we, really, when we strip away the gadgets, the policies, and the noise? Can we still find the capacity to care for one another without waiting for the system to tell us it is allowed?